Hi there. The Heroes Weekend has passed and we're back to regular programming. We're so glad you have joined us. Between the pages today, important details on intellectual disability, plus reading more with our children. There's also the news of the day as well as a few messages. I'm Theodore Henry and this is Jamaica Magazine. It unfolds right now.
Good day, I'm Lorraine Mendez and this is your JIS News for Tuesday, October 22. 215 individuals were formally recognized for their contributions to national development yesterday during the annual ceremony of investiture and presentation of national honors and awards. The National Heroes Day function was once again held on the lawns of King's House. Heading this year's list of recipients was Professor Gerald Cecil Layler, who was awarded the Order of Merit for his application of science, technology and innovation and service to the public and private sectors. In his absence, Professor Layler's award was collected by his son. Other notable honorees include Minister without Portfolio in the Office of the Prime Minister Mike Henry, who is one of 5 persons conferred with the Order of Jamaica. The others are renowned reggae singer Dr. Alfarita Constantia Rita Marley, former Minister and Member of Parliament for St. Catherine Northwest Robert Pickersgill, Dr. Julius Winston Garvey, son of National Hero the Right Excellent Marcus Mosiah Garvey, and Jamaica Broilers Group Chairman Robert Levy. Comedian and actor Glenn Titus Campbell was met with deafening applause as he was announced to receive the Order of Distinction in the rank of officer. He was among 40 persons being awarded in this group and one of several recognized with various awards for their contribution to the entertainment field. They include international recording artist Sean Paul Henriquez and the late reggae singer Jacob Miller, who were both among 41 persons to receive the Order of Distinction in the rank of Commander. 2 Jamaicans, Tamar Delise Blake and Susan Foster, who risked their lives to save others, were awarded the Badge of Honor for gallantry. While 2 members of the Jamaica Defence Force, the late Lance Corporal Ricardo Bennett and Lance Corporal Ferdinand Trench, were awarded the Medal of Honor for gallantry. 23 persons were awarded with the Badge of Honor for meritorious service, while 30 received the Badge of Honor for long and faithful service. In the category of Medal of Honor for meritorious service, 71 persons from the Jamaica Defence Force, Jamaica Constabulary Force, Department of Correctional Services and Jamaica Fire Brigade were awarded. This Heroes Weekend also witnessed the country paying tribute to one of its sports icons with the unveiling of Veronica Campbell-Brown's statue in the Independence Park complex. During Saturday's ceremony, Prime Minister Andrew Holness said the statue of the Olympian should serve as inspiration for Jamaicans to advance prosperity on the island.
VCB dreamt of glory, and she attained it. Dreams are achievable. Yet, even if they sometimes appear to be somewhat elusive, dare to dream anyway. Populate your thoughts with positive images of triumph, and even if you fall, pick yourself up and keep on running.
To be remembered and commemorated for my contribution to Jamaica's rich history in this unique way is an absolute blessing and a gesture that I greatly appreciate.
Government has now provided close to $50 million worth of relief supplies for 47 farmers in Flagam and St. Elizabeth who suffered losses during a fire in August. The fire affected more than 200 acres of farmland and resulted in losses estimated at $45 million. Government support includes supplies valued at over $14.3 million. Some of the supplies were handed over by State Minister of Industry, Commerce, Agriculture and Fisheries Floyd Green during a ceremony at the Pedro Plains Anglican Church Hall in St. Elizabeth on Friday.
When we came and saw the devastation, we decided that we have to quickly get to work because Flagaman is too important a community to allow it to not be able to produce. Flagaman has the most registered farmers in any community in Jamaica.
The supplies to the farmers include 28 black tanks, irrigation fixtures, more than 100 bags of fertilizer, and a variety of seeds. The farmers have also been provided with more than 30 truckloads of guinea grass to be used for mulching.
And if you look around, you will see that our farmers have already put the guinea grass to use. Our farmers here in Flagaman, despite the drought conditions, despite not having water, have perfected the art of using mulching to ensure that the crops grow.
The State Minister says the affected farmers are expected to resume full production, which should augur well, particularly for the Christmas season. National Security Minister Dr. Horace Chang says amendments to the Proceeds of Crime Act will enhance the country's investigative efficiency while complying with international laws on anti-money laundering and terrorist financing. The Caribbean Financial Action Task Force Mutual Evaluation Report of 2017 made 40 recommendations aimed at addressing money laundering and terrorist financing. According to Dr. Chang, Jamaica was partially compliant with 21 and non-compliant with 2 of the recommendations. He says the country must address the compliance deficiencies or risk being locked out of the international financial system. The Security Minister adds that the amendments will also better secure the local financial system.
In a bid to protect the integrity of the economy, it's important that the government of Jamaica ensure that a robust framework exists to identify and prevent criminal elements from utilizing the legitimate financial system for their own benefit and in strengthening our criminal organization.
Dr. Horace Chang was speaking in Parliament last Tuesday as the House began debate on amendments to the Proceeds of Crime Act. And finally, the Electoral Office of Jamaica, EOJ, will be embarking on a national voter identification card renewal exercise as of Monday, November 4. While this is being done, the life of the current ID cards will be extended until December 2020 to allow for a smooth transitional process from the old card to the new one.
We are encouraging all entities, be it banks, financial institutions, government entities, and private business to continue to accept the voter ID cards, while the new cards are phased in over the next year.
Director of Elections Glasspool Brown was speaking at a recent JIS think tank. In addition to the 63 constituency offices island-wide, 272 card renewal centers will be temporarily established to assist with the process. A list of the renewal centers will be made available on the EOJ website.
We are encouraging all registered voters with ID cards issued 2015 and earlier to visit any EOJ constituency office or voter ID renewal center. Also, all electors who have cards which was issued date between 2016 and 2019 will not need to visit the EOJ office for renewal. These new cards, their new card that is, will be printed, and these electors will be notified when they are ready.
And that's it for JIS News today. I'm Lorraine Mendez. Thanks for watching.
Women are diagnosed with cervical cancer each year. The risk of developing these abnormal changes is associated with the infection of HPV. Not only that, early sexual contact, multiple sexual partners, and taking oral contraceptives increases your risk of developing cervical cancer. Ladies, protect yourself. Get tested. It is better to be aware than to be living in absolute fear.
Next, the latest happenings out of the office of the Prime Minister.
Contract signed for $9.5 billion Catherine Estates, $59 million Chesterfield Bridge opens, and House of Representatives approves extension for 5 parish states of emergency. You're watching Jamaica House Weekly. I'm Anthony Morgan.
I encourage all Jamaicans to plant a tree in your surroundings today. and add your voice and action to the millions of enlightened citizens around the world mobilized individually in their locale to protect and preserve their environment and build resilience to climate change.
Prime Minister Andrew Holness's rallying call to Jamaicans on National Heroes Day. He urged citizens to protect our heritage, a great legacy, by being a hero of the environment. Mr. Holness also participated in the National Honours and Awards function at King's House on Monday. Later in the evening, the Prime Minister thanked Mike Henry for his service to Jamaica. Minister Henry was earlier in the day conferred with the Order of Jamaica. Before that, Prime Minister was present for Saturday's unveiling of a statue in honor of Olympian Veronica Campbell-Brown. The statue is mounted at the Independence Park complex in Kingston. Mr. Holness lauded Campbell-Brown for being an inspiration to Jamaica.
Moments like these form part of the platform for us to engage with each other and commit to the transformation of our country. It is proof that there are no challenges we cannot overcome once we set our minds to it and work assiduously in unity.
Early in the last week, the Prime Minister signed a $9.5 billion contract to develop Catherine Estates at Bernard Lodge in St. Catherine. The new community will have 1,650 studio and one-bedroom units, a new primary and high school, a church, police station, 2 large parks and commercial buildings. To be done in 6 phases and in 14 clusters, studio units will be sold for $5.5 million and the one-bedrooms will go for $6.6 million. Catherine Estates is being managed by the Housing Agency of Jamaica, with China Harbour Engineering Company being hired as the contractor. At Tuesday's launch, Mr. Holness reminded potential residents that government would be monitoring and imposing strict covenants on the development.
The government has to take a stand as we build out more communities, because what we are finding is when you allow the community to deteriorate, then it becomes a safe harbor for crime and social deviance.
In the House of Representatives Tuesday, the Prime Minister received parliamentarians' approval to extend the states of emergency now operating in 5 parishes across the island. The St. James, Hanover and Westmoreland Special Security Measure will continue until January 27, 2020, while operations in St. Catherine and Clarendon will remain in place until January 18 next year. As he sought the extensions, Mr. Holness told the House that since the imposition of the states of emergency across the 5 parishes, there had been marked reduction in murders and shootings, an increase in the recovery of firearms and ammunition, as well as multiple arrests and charges. Despite the successes, the Prime Minister said Westmoreland, Hanover and St. James accounted for 20% of murders, and St. Catherine and Clarendon recorded 27% of murders nationally.
There needs to be a national approach in tackling the problem. It's not only a crime-fighting problem. There is the underlying issue of why it is that violence is being used so often to resolve conflicts.
And while still in Parliament, Mr. Holness announced that there would be a relaxing of closing times in the St. Andrews South Police Division. This, he said, would be similar to the 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. opening hours, now in effect for the St. Catherine and Clarendon states of emergency. Prime Minister Holness also agreed to revert to normal business opening hours in the states of emergency around the Christmas period.
To allow people to enjoy the season. It is not the intention of the government to take away the enjoyment of the people.
By Wednesday, Mr. Holness was in Bernard Lodge, St. Catherine to break ground for CarMed Group's $6 billion complex. The 258,000 square foot facility will house all aspects of the company's consumer goods division.
We need more Jamaicans like Glenn to take a risk on Jamaica, to create more employment for Jamaicans and to expand the Jamaican economy.
Wednesday also saw the Prime Minister traveling to St. Mary for the opening of the $59 million Chesterfield Bridge. Mr. Holness updated the gathering on progress being made on the Junction Road Improvement Project. He said though the $626 million set aside to repair the road was inadequate, plans were in train to continue works on the thoroughfare.
It is our intention to widen and straighten the Junction Road going right back down to Stony Hill. We plan to do that. It can't be done overnight, but we are committed to in sections and phases and as our budget can carry.
Back in Kingston Thursday, Mr. Holness attended the first in a series of meetings to build national consensus around crime and violence on the island. Those talks involved government ministers, the opposition, and civil society.
I'm confident that we have the capacity as a people to set aside political differences, to temper the political contest around the issue, and come up with solutions very quickly to solve this seemingly intractable problem. Fontana Waterloo is evidence of the buoyancy of the Jamaican economy.
Prime Minister Holness Thursday as he opened the 6th Fontana Pharmacy branch called Fontana Waterloo Square. The multi-story complex is expected to hire over 100 Jamaicans. During the opening, Mr. Holness shared government's commitment to tackling climate change and addressing national security.
We are making the right allocative decisions based upon our priorities, and that will strengthen our ability to respond to these serious threats.
Mr. Holness spent some time Tuesday with a delegation from the Jamaica Customer Service Association. On the same day, he held talks with chairman of the RJ Gleaner Group, Joseph Matalon. And that's it for Jamaica House Weekly. I'm Anthony Morgan. Join us next time for more of the news stories coming out of the Office of the Prime Minister.
Intellectual disability is often difficult to detect in comparison to other forms of disabilities. Coming up, caregivers of those diagnosed with the disability offer some valuable advice. Watch this.
My name is Nadine Barrett and my son is Lance Barrett. Lance is a child with intellectual disability and he is also diagnosed with cerebral palsy. Lance was born a 7-pound, 5-ounce baby, 3 months in his life. He wasn't talking, well, 3 months don't talk, but he wasn't crawling around, he wasn't sitting up, he would smile, and I know something was wrong. I can remember this one time, even to this day I spoke about it, tears come to my eye. A doctor came and she was like, "Mommy, this child not going to live to see 2. But my motto is, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
I'm Nefi Shiva and I'm a person with intellectual disability, and I used to also come to the School of Hope, Randolph Lopez School of Hope. And then I graduated at the age of 18 years old. But he keep on coming up by jail to tell him that I can't get any work, and then after they call me and tell me that there's a position here for as a janitor work. First time when I just started, I used to think that I couldn't do the work before, but now I see that it's something that I can able to do, and like because it's use my hands is not really like using the brain.
Intellectual disability is characterized by significant limitations in both intellectual functioning and in adaptive behavior. For instance, in communication, daily living, and social skills. The disability usually originates before the age of 18.
One of the features of intellectual disability is that the persons will have below average IQ. Average IQ is about 100, right? Below average would be anywhere between 70 to 75 and below.
Intellectual disability is diagnosed usually by a psychological assessment. This is inclusive of intelligence, adaptive or behavioral and educational tools done by a clinical educational psychologist. These tools are standardized instruments used specifically to identify levels in the areas of intellect and adaptive behavior. In addition, interviews with family and other relevant persons are done to elicit significant history and other data about functioning related to the persons being assessed. Intellectual disability must not be confused with mental disability.
The important thing is that, and we have to be cognizant of, is that research says that almost 50% of the causes of intellectual disability are unknown. We don't know.
Right up until today, I sit and wondered sometimes. It's like I tried to go back to the first time I remember that I was pregnant and what I did or what I didn't do, or what. There's nothing that I can think of.
Intellectual disability is what they call an invisible disability. People tend to look for something physical. A lot of times there are no visible signs. And so parents tend to be in denial about the child not meeting the milestones, because they don't have a physical disability. So they tend to say, boy, nothing is wrong.
Believe me, it was hard. It was really, really hard. Because having a child that was normal, my daughter, and then having Lance, and to hear that he has a disability, I was wondering, how am I going to cope?
There is a perception that people with intellectual disability have no sense and they can't do things, so that's a myth. So intellectual disability is really just limitations in intellectual functioning. They will learn, but they will do it much slower.
Jade helped me a lot, because if it never for them, I wouldn't know what I would do.
This is a program that we manage in collaboration with the Ministry of Education, Information and Youth. We are in 13 of the 14 parishes, so we do have a national network. We have 5 main schools with their affiliate learning centers. Students within this program, they are from ages 6 years to 21 years, so it's really students and youth. They want to be integrated, they want to be included. All they need are opportunities. They'd love to be involved in employment. They'd love to be integrated in their communities. They want other people to see them as valuable members of society. They want to be loved. They want to belong to groups as well. And so even leisure and community activities, they want to be a part of that. And if we're moving into the whole realm of including people, despite your challenges, that's the way we should do it in our communities.
You're not to always listen to what people say about a disability, because if you keep on saying that you have a disability, it's going to put you down, and it's going to make you downgrade yourself and say that you can't do anything for yourself in life.
I look at Lance as a normal child. Before that anyway, I used to limit Lance in doing things. I stopped all of those. I allow Lance to come in the kitchen. He bakes, he cooks, he makes juice, he cuts up vegetables. So the only thing that he does not do at home or anywhere else is walk as yet. And I put it as yet because I still have hope for my child.
Want more information on intellectual disability? Contact JADE. Their headquarters is at 7 Golding Avenue in Kingston. Also, you may call at 876-977-1118 or email jade@cwjamaica.com.
Mommy?
Yes, Zoe?
Can we read this book? It will only take 10 minutes.
Sure, sit down. Every spring, Madame Angel Wing arranges.
Do you have 10 minutes? Read with your child today. Reading with your children for just 10 minutes each day helps develop their language and listening skills, stimulates their imagination, and expands their understanding of the world. So, start reading with your child today.
Reading should go beyond social media posts. Reading expands knowledge and it transports the mind into the unknown. For these reasons and others, reading is encouraged, especially for students who should know more than just what's in their textbooks to improve critical thinking and expression. Next, getting our youngsters to read more.
I'm Janet Davids, teacher of grade 6 coordinator. Get them interested in the reading. Because, you know, research has shown that over the years, as children get older, the interest and motivation in reading decreases. So as a grade 6 teacher, what I try to do is to encourage my students to read a wide variety of genres. Sometimes while I'm teaching, what I do is I bring in a little of what I've read in a book into my whole discussion, you know, like a teenager book. And then they will say, "Miss, you know that?" And I say, "Yes, because I read all types of books, and therefore you need to read all types of books." I think parents themselves must be readers. Parents must not allow the students to think that reading is a chore. You know, like sometimes when they're doing something bad and the parents say, "Go take up your book." No, it should be something fun. So they should find fun ways to read together with the children and read to them sometimes as well, and not just reading just one particular material, but a variety of materials so that they know that reading is not just a book. So those are some of the ways in which I try to pique their interest and get them interested in reading.
We've come to the end of the show for today. Catch us again tomorrow on this channel. Here's a reminder to send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm. You may also connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.